Resolution 143-2021, consider revised Phase 1, Phase 2 addendum to Developers Agreement for the Traditions of America Plan.
So if you recall, last fall, there was addendum to both of these related to the Han Road Bridge, and you passed a resolution related to that. There have been modifications made to the bridge component of it. They've been agreed upon between Dan and the developer. So these two addenda, which I sent to you all, just amend the developers' agreements for those two phases and address the bridge scope of work.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Resolution 144-2021, considered appointment of Jason Wheeler to the Parks and Recreation Board to serve until January 2025.
Make a motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0.
Thank you, Jason.
Resolution 145-2021, consider the Board of Supervisors regular monthly minutes from Tuesday, July 6, 2021, Cecil Township Board of Supervisors regular monthly meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Resolution 146-2021, consider general fund invoices from July 1st through July 31st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
I second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. Board of Supervisors discussion of new business.
Any new business?
Maybe old business.
Old business, go ahead.
Just that there was circulating the ABB draft for, what was it called? Settlement and release. What's the amount we're up to, Gretchen, or do you know what the total is on that ABB property? What is the total that we have invested into? Yes.
I don't have the exact figure.
About 158,000.
Jack, are you familiar with the number?
I do not have the number.
Or Dan? I don't have the figure with me. I know it's been circulated a bunch of times.
Sir, or 258,000.
240.
240,000.
58.
Is there a reason that wasn't addressed in the document, settlement and release?
Right, because as I said at the last meeting, unless you all want to enter into litigation with them, there is no exchange of funds related to it. It's a mutual walk away. And there was no appetite or vote to want to litigate with them.
No. That's just poor stewards of the money, the taxpayers. So just walk away. Is the agreement the gist of it?
Correct. They're not suing you. You're not suing them.
So
They're not coming after you for money. We're not going after them.
So the residents are out of $240,000. So every month that this board said, I approve the minutes, I approve the general fund, I approve the dollar spent for the previous month. Every month that happened, we let that go on for 18 months. Every month that we approved those, we were saying yes to buying the ABB property.
No, speak for yourself.
And then, did you say yes on any?
I never said
No.
You
yes.
never said yes for any of them?
Anything to do with ABB, I never once said yes. So speak for yourself.
You waited a year. You yourself waited 15 months after you were elected to come to that decision that we were no longer going to do this. I just say that it's wrong. I think that we should be trying to recoup some of that $240,000 for the residents and be good stewards. Even if we turned that into a park or did something with the property, they hauled 2,300 truckloads of dirt out of there, and they spent, what was it, $6 million? We don't just turn our backs on $240,000 that it's not your money. That's all I have. Any other?
I never once said yes to anything about ABB.
Did you approve the monthly budgets?
What's that?
The monthly budgets. So the monthly budgets, when the chairman would read, do you approve the minutes and you approve the general fund invoices from July 1st through July 31st?
We don't still have invoices.
Every month that you approve, you're saying okay to all of those.
You.
That's right, and I still think that we shouldn't be getting out of that deal. That's all I have. There was one second order that was paperwork on the appeal for the Bernard Schultz that came across our desk and being circulated. How has that proceeded, or where's that at now, Gretchen? Did we form an appeal?
So the appeal deadline was today. Range filed an appeal last week. We filed a notice of appeal on behalf of the township. It's called a protective notice because I understand that both sides want to try to, in very short order, settle the matters related to the conditions. So there'll be meetings scheduled this week, hopefully, and a resolution that can come before the board, I hope, for September.
So I did call you and illustrate that I spoke with Tom and there was no, we were saying no, we did not desire to appeal. And I did speak with Frank also, and he said that he did have no conversation with anyone in regards to that topic, the Bernard Schultz well. So who did you act on? Or why did you act on filing the appeal if we said no and Frank didn't talk to anybody in regards to that topic?
My understanding is a majority of the board wants to get the matter resolved, and you can't get it resolved without filing the appeal, which is due today before your meeting.
And who told you that you had a majority of the board?
I spoke to the chairperson.
Okay, that's where the issue is. If Frank isn't aware of that and didn't have the topic, nobody can just assume the vote and tell him how he's going to be voting. The chairman is one of 5 board members, and you should be listening to her. So we have to change the process, or something has to be made better. Supervisor Cecil and myself said no, Frank wasn't aware of it.
How do you know Frank wasn't aware of it?
He told me this morning.
Can Frank speak for
Is
himself?
that correct, Frank?
Yeah, it's just a cover appeal. There's no cost to it. It's just so we can sit down and hash issues out with Range Resources. There's no cost to this.
We've talked
So you did,
Sit
you
down.
did vote for it?
with Range at a table, face to face, rather than, no offense, spending all this money on attorneys and everything.
Well, you're doing it. You're filing an appeal. You're filing an appeal. You're going
How
back
much does that
against
appeal
what the
cost?
judge says.
Zero. It's a cover
Exactly.
appeal.
There's a filing fee. It's a notice of appeal. It's 1 page. And there would be activity in the near future, next month or so. But in the meantime, the parties can sit down and get it resolved. I understand they want to have discussions this week.
No one spoke to Frank. I said no, Tom said no. That's 3 votes. That's 3
Judge
votes.
said you talked to them.
That's 3 votes. So something has to change. Either you cannot be tallying the board or questioning the board, or we get that directly from the township manager, or, yeah, just something has to change. You spoke with the chairman, one of 5 supervisors that
The
told you
process
to
that I
file the
always
appeal.
utilize happened. You were all informed multiple occasions with multiple emails with my recommendations and, what you want to do. You knew the deadline was before the meeting today. So I just filed a notice of appeal. If you all want to withdraw it in the future, you can decide to do that. But at this point, we're going to sit down and have some settlement discussions, which wouldn't be happening.
No, you
And I
don't act by just what the chairman says.
Mr.
All right,
Dizio just
we
said
can
he
further.
understands it's a protective and
Shouldn't you
appeal.
come
He
here and
wants
defend
to.
yourself?
Frank said that he didn't know, he didn't have any discussions with anyone. That's
I
wrong.
just heard him say
Either the
otherwise.
attorney has to go, the chairman has
Are
to
you
go,
listening to Frank?
or something has to
Judge
happen.
said
I did speak with Supervisor Fisher after talking to you this morning, Eric, and she explained to me it's a
Then why
cover
did you
appeal.
tell me you didn't speak with anyone?
After I spoke with you this morning, later on in the day,
And Gretchen had already filed it. That
it's a cover appeal.
No, I actually just filed it late this afternoon,
Okay.
after I was told that.
Let's do things the right way.
I think we are, Eric, but you shouldn't be.
No,
you shouldn't be
I'll hold them
bashing
accountable.
Sandy when she's not here to defend
I'll hold
herself.
her accountable.
You can do that if
She
you want.
doesn't have the right to tell Gretchen the pulse of the board when she didn't speak with Supervisor Dizio. That's all I have to say.
Any more?
You're the chairman now.
No, I'm asking you anything more? We'll bring up all this old business.
I'll provide you all with a timestamp copy.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any citizens' comments?
Kara Sheridan, 58 North DePauli. So my question is, did you provide, Eric, did you provide the solicitor with written confirmation that you did not want to pursue this motion that she filed, which she's just trying, from what I can see from an outsider's perspective, trying to protect the citizens and giving us the time and use as supervisors the time to make an informed decision? Did Mr. Sivavec or Mr. Cassiola provide notification that they did not want to pursue a protective appeal, which would give the adequate time to make a decision? He chooses not to answer the question.
I'm going to address the board.
Yeah, I'm addressing
Mr.
it.
Chairman, did you ever address the board?
Yes, you.
Why should she be questioning
You're on
me?
the board.
I spoke my piece. We're not campaigning. I don't need your
Are we not
campaign material.
campaigning?
No.
Are you sure? So I'm just here to say, to blindly consider something, not having a discussion around a counter set of concerns around the Bernard Schultz conditions is concerning to me. The fact that you would blindly accept that, just roll over and say whatever they say is okay with no further discussion on the matter is extremely concerning to me. And I'd like to know also if that is also Supervisor Casciola's position, that you'd just like to accept further, with no further discussion, the conditions that were rejected as part of the appeal.
The solicitor asked if we wanted to comment, if we wanted to appeal. I didn't respond one way or the other.
Okay, so he just said you did, and you said you didn't want to. You didn't want to do it, he said. And Frank didn't say anything about wanting to do it. But he's standing here and saying 3 people, that there was no...
2 said no, and 1 said he
Who
didn't
said
hear
no?
on the
Which 2
topic.
said no?
Myself and Tom.
Okay, he just said he didn't say anything.
He shared with me that.
Okay, but he didn't
His
say
position
anything
was
to
a
the
no.
solicitor. What is she
Mr.
supposed
Chair,
to do?
you have to allow him to be on stand there. She can
What
address the
is
board if
she
she has
supposed to
any.
do? You're throwing her under the bus in front of all these people.
Throwing who?
And the solicitor.
She should have the total and know
You're calling her out.
that she cannot listen to one member of the board to go and
So
file
the
an
one member
appeal.
she should listen to is you?
Eric, that's been a
I
line
gave
of
my vote.
communication.
I'm sorry.
I gave my
Eric.
vote and I gave Tom's vote.
Well, as Gretchen stated, that's been a line of communication. She's, corresponded with the chairman on matters.
So I'm saying he's making incorrect statements in front of the audience here, that 2 or 3 members, it started off with 3 members, were against it. And now we're down to 2 members, and now Tom is saying he didn't say that. And I'm just saying, I disagree with the statements that you're making, Supervisor Sivavec, and that you're saying incorrect facts at this point in time, and that you can't do that when someone's here not to defend them, because Cindy isn't here to say what happened or didn't happen with respect to her line of communication.
I know as I called and I shared the information with Gretchen that Tom and I were voting no.
Okay, is that Tom's
I immediately
responsibility?
called Frank, and Frank said he didn't have discussions with anyone on the topic.
Correct.
When I spoke with Gretchen, she stated that she was already filing the appeal.
Right,
So wait a minute, something's out of line. I'm anxious to see her timeline that she talks about.
and I'm anxious to understand why you
Because
think the
he
one
said no
person...
one knew, he said no one had talked to him for or against it.
I understand what you're
So
saying.
that's the 3rd vote. So how did Cindy get 3 votes?
How did you get 3
Did
votes?
she assume that Frank was gonna vote the way she does?
All I'm saying is you're claiming that she shouldn't listen to Cindy.
That's,
She should listen to you instead.
no,
But
the
my
board,
point is,
it's a 5-member board.
Then everybody
So have
should
the
follow.
township manager or the assistant manager handle
Then
that.
change the procedures.
That's
is
right.
What you're saying,
Thank
but you can't sit here and say that what she did was wrong because every other time that's the way that the process
It is
has
wrong. It is wrong.
It
Either
is
the
not.
attorney needs change, the chairman needs change for doing that, or the process needs
But
change.
if they would have done what you said, then it would have been okay. I'm just saying, I think that there are a lot of people aren't as informed on what you're talking about here, and you're mincing words, and you're saying
No.
that 3 people were not in favor of it, and we just established here that that is totally incorrect.
Okay.
That the only person that informed Gretchen that they were not in favor of proceeding with an appeal was you. And if everyone knew that there was a deadline, then other people should have been informing her directly they were not in favor of an appeal. Otherwise, it would default back to...
So Frank didn't hear from anyone, and he had already had his vote cast for him.
But Eric,
Something's wrong with that picture.
Tommy
He
said
had an
right there.
opportunity to call her before the deadline, before
And
she
he didn't